The motion after effect is an optical illusion where if you stare at the center of a moving image for some time and then look away, you'll experience a peculiar sensation. Everything around you will seem to zoom and move, creating a sort of breathing movement effect. Another intriguing illusion is the Ames room, where a person appears to change size dramatically as they move from one side of the room to the other. Despite both sides having the same height, the design of the room, with one side closer to the camera, creates the illusion of significant size difference. The flashed face distortion effect is another puzzling phenomenon where faces on the sides of a central point appear deformed and grotesque when you focus on the center. This effect was discovered by chance, and researchers are still exploring why it occurs. The stepping feet illusion involves two buses that seem to move step by step. However, removing the background reveals that the illusion is created by the contrast between the buses and the background. The silencing effect is an illusion where small balls change color, but when they start rotating, they seem to maintain the same color. This happens because our eyes find it harder to notice changes in color on moving objects compared to stationary ones. In the case of the hybrid image, viewers may perceive Albert Einstein when looking from a short distance and Marilyn Monroe when observed from afar. This perceptual shift occurs because the image combines the low spatial frequencies of one picture with the high spatial frequencies of another. Another example is the Ponzo illusion, where an upper line appears longer due to the surrounding context suggesting depth. Similarly, the Poggendorf illusion creates the impression that a blue line continues from a black line due to the specific arrangement of patterns and borders. Forced perspective is a technique used to manipulate perception, making objects appear farther away, closer, larger, or smaller than they actually are. This technique is often employed by tourists posing with famous landmarks like the Tower of Pisa. Various optical illusions, such as the barber pole illusion and the Zollner illusion, exploit visual cues and patterns to deceive perception. These illusions demonstrate how our brains interpret visual information and can be fooled by certain arrangements of lines, colors, and shapes. The Kanisa triangle is another example where the absence of lines or color change across the edge creates the illusion of a bright white triangle. This illusory effect highlights the role of perception in interpreting visual stimuli. Analogously, Mach bands illustrate how our eyes amplify the contrast between adjacent shades of gray, particularly at their borders. In the Leaning Tower illusion, despite appearances, the tower in the right photo is an exact replica of the one in the left photo, challenging our perception of orientation and perspective. The hollow face illusion further underscores the influence of top-down processing in vision. Despite being presented with a concave mask, viewers perceive it as a convex face, highlighting the role of pre-existing knowledge and assumptions in visual perception. Color constancy exemplifies how our perception of color remains consistent even when presented with varying light intensities or shades. This feature of human color perception enables us to recognize the colors of objects in images composed of different shades of red and white, as demonstrated in the example provided. The contrast illusion occurs when there is a distortion in how we perceive a stimulus, typically when it is presented alongside another stimulus of differing value. This phenomenon affects visual perception, as demonstrated by examples like the checker shadow illusion, where areas of equal color appear to have different intensities due to surrounding context.